Hello, it's good to have you on the program again today, and of course, it is still the economy today on KAFTAN television. Thank you for being there, and we've come to ensure that we reach out to you in the right form or in the right order. I believe that this day will be beautiful, of course, and we will share all in the best of forms to ensure that our economy is put in the right situation, and that everyone that has watched or is watching would go home at the end of the day with something beautiful, gathering some points and facts from the program. That's the essence of it all. And so we'll say again, you're welcome. And right away, we have a talk. Of course, we will still play our news from the business news today. We will just do that, and then we will get over and continue with our discussion, which we will begin with in the first place. And today's discussion has to do with these inflationary trends we've been seeing. And so we're looking at the fact that while the inflation has eased off to something that has come down, really. Sorry, forgive me, this is Okechukwu, I forgot to mention that. But let's go ahead. And so the fact is that the inflationary trend is what we decided to talk about on a serious note today, and to ensure that it is discussed. That is talking about the fact that inflation eases to 15%, while food crashes to 8.89%. Well, we will discuss this. And the person I've got to discuss it with is a financial consultant, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. I'm talking about an Elder Godson Eke. This is not the first time he's been on this program, and so it's good to have you again here, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Well, sir, you've heard what we have at a topic for today, for discussion. It has to do with inflation easing to 15.10%, and food crashing to 8.89%. Looking at it as someone that is, of course, a retired chief executive of a bank, and today you are still doing financial education. You're teaching people, lecturing people on that, and being a consultant in all matters that have to do with financing, and helping people also know how to make use of their money for something positive. Look at it. This inflation thing we're hearing, is it true in the first place? If it is true, please help us understand it. Yes.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ndubog.
Yeah.
It is true, but some other people have said also it is fake. Now the truth is that on whichever divide you belong to, you are all right. We are all right. It is true. For those who say it's true, for those who are saying it is fake, it is also true, because they also have their argument. But the one thing we need to take out of this is that it is rather a kind of soothing relief. Now, why is it true? Why it could be true is because the figures are actually correct. The composite price index, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, have shown that we moved from about 15.15% in December to about 15.10% in January. But however, a lot of things are attributable to the drop. Now remember that in December, what we had was holiday spending that spiked prices of food items, which is basically where these things are based on. Looking at composite price, food price indexes and all that.
Okay.
Now, exchange rate has stabilized a bit, dropped. But again, those who are saying it is fake is because they are looking at what the MBS has done as an annual average instead of month-on-month average. If an annual average for a whole year has given us 15.15%, now the question there is, how realistic is this drop? Is the economy now, can we now say that the economy is stabilized? No. Is it stabilizing? Yes. But it is still vulnerable to supplies and exchanges. Now, exchange rate has a little bit stabilized. We now saw within the period under review that it averaged at about 1.410 naira to a dollar. And I think as at now it is still going down a bit. Now what happens thereafter up to the end of the first quarter of 2026
sorry, just
is what
not to
will
disturb
justify.
You. Okay, not to disturb you. You said 1 point, like that is 1,400.
1,410.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
That's 1,410 naira to a dollar. Exactly.
Okay.
I'm leaning 1 point in thousand basis, but it's 1,410 average.
Yes, okay.
Now it had dropped down to that point. And it's still going down. I understand it's about 1.3, 1,300 and something now.
Yes,
and
yes.
we expect that trajectory to. What are the things that have lent credence to this? Now, we've had more production of refined, petroleum products, and we're even exporting now.
Yes.
Okay? And we know where that are coming from. We have also, we're just at the, if you like, for the food prices, it is still part of the bumper harvest,
yes,
in quote, experienced towards the end of last year. Now that harvest, while the consumers will be smiling and happy that there is a little bit of glut that have dropped the prices of foodstuffs or food items, the agriculturists, the producers of these food items may not be as happy as the consumers are because some of them would have borrowed, interest rates is still high.
Yes.
Before we can say it is now being uhuru, I think we need to quickly act to drop interest rate. Because if the producers of these food items are still borrowing at high interest rates and are now going to sell, they're saying below the cost of their funds, who is gaining? The marginal gain we think the consumers are getting is now rubbing off on the pain of the borrowers who have to now pay at high interest rates. So these things need to be all inclusive. And again, if we're just taking a few food items out of the stock of the log, because the Consumer Price Index recognizes over 900 and something food items and all that. But maybe you have just done about 60 something to 70 food items, and now you are saying this has dropped. Again, what constitutes a drop in inflationary rate to a particular location would differ from location to location. And it would differ from the type of consumer you are considering to the other. For people who are, when we look at the food items, inflation on food items, have we also looked at inflation on tech items, gadgets? A man or a consumer who is in Lagos who consumes more of, technical equipment, gadgets and all that, has not had a reduction in price of what he buys. But the man who is in my village or your village, who have seen that food items are dropped, of course, we need to give it to the system, to the economic system, that look, there is some sort of improvement. But holistically, we can't just begin to jump up now and say that we have arrived. We haven't quite arrived, because what happens in the next couple of months up to the end of this first quarter, we'll not know whether it is what has happened in January is going to be retained. It's going to be is it going to be flat, or is it going to spike again? And this is where we come into salute. While we have seen these improvements, there's a need also for monetary policy to come in and do something on the interest rate angle.
So some other people have also said that this thing we're talking about, food rate going down and all that, is as a result of the fact that the harvest that was, if you like, again, as we use then, bumper harvest, that immediately after all these things are gone.
The other one says correct. Both are right in their thinking and their reasoning. Now, we always see that during harvest periods, now because we are a country that largely produce our food and consume raw, we don't have mechanisms. We don't have mechanisms to add value to these things. We don't even have mechanisms to ensure that they are stored over a long period. Not every kind of food item that we have been able to be able to have a system where they can be preserved for a long period of time, or maybe all year long before the new products comes into play. So every farmer, every producer, every agro producer, manufacturer brings out food, brings out his or her food item, push to the market, and then these things drop the price when they need them. When there's a glut, it should be taken off the market, preserved, brought out again, when there is scarcity.
Yes.
But these are the things that is also affected. That's why they will tell you this is fake. That is not real. So, and again, another reason why this drop has taken place, that you remember that sometime up to 1994, up to 2024, the base that MBS was using to compute the inflationary rate was a base that was established since 2009. But a lot of things has happened, especially upward until 2023, with the the realization of the FX market, with the removal of a subsidy and all that. The economy started floating and all that. With all those things that has happened, it became necessary not to continue to rely on the 2009 base. Then in November 2004, they now got a new base that will reflect the economic reality in
November
computing.
2024?
Yes, November 2024.
Okay.
So that November 2024, when the new base now, the new base for calculating the inflationary rate came in, that is what has given this drop. That was why you were at about 30-something percent, 34%. The rebasing of the basis for computing this thing is of computing inflation now led to this remarkable drop between November 2024, when it was above 34%, till by December 2025, it came to 15.15%, and now has further dropped in January to 15.1%. So these are the technicalities that are used in computing these things. This accounts for the reason why the rebasing of the basis for computing it has dropped the rate. And people will still say it is not true because the real pockets of the people, the masses out there, is not reflecting a reduction because if you look at it, the agro manufacturer man or woman who have to dispose his products because he has no choice of how to preserve it, and all that, goes back to the market to buy a exercise book for the child who is in school. The price of a exercise book has not dropped.
Coming down.
He wants to buy this book for the child who is going back to school. The price has not dropped. And he's having fewer naira, but have a lot of goods he has to dispose, fewer money in his hands. So where is the reduction in inflationary rate?
Okay. I think that explains it, because...
so this is why they are complaining.
Some keep saying, I have not seen anything, because it's only rice and beans that, that has come down. Every other thing is still up. Someone asked me, the price of egusi has not come down. I said, has it come down? I said, no. He said, all these things. But they are still high. It's not when you just check only with rice and beans and maybe gari that you think it's okay. That is not okay. That we need to do a lot. And thank you so much
what I said for
coming to explain that other tech side of the story.
The tech side of it, yes.
Because many people...
The rebasing.
Yes.
If not, we would have still been talking about 20-something, close to 30 by now.
Okay. Oh, well, I hope I hope that the ears that you hear are listening, and it's a good thing that Central Bank has really done a whole lot within this period in putting measures into effect to see that that these things are checked. I hope they will also come with something else so that there will be reason for us to smile the more, especially what has to do with manufactured products.
Exactly.
Because if those ones are still high, then we have not done the complete work. The process is half done. It needs to be complete and perfected.
Yes.
Then again, there is need for people to think of how can we get into the manufacturing sector in Nigeria. Like, let me give you an instance. Mango is about to come. It has just started coming out. And cashew has started coming out.
All of them.
And we're seeing it. But after a while now, if you go to some of these local markets, you see the spoiled ones that they couldn't finish selling, and they left them there because there is no storage facility.
Exactly.
Is this not a problem for us?
Really, it is. The fact that we'll keep year in, year out, we keep churning out all these agro products, producing them. We see glut in the market situation. whenever it is harvest season for each of these, whether they are cash products or edible products, is a challenge, because unless and until we begin to add value to these things for export and whatever. Now, we need to really, the need for cottage industries that will begin to take up these things and turn them into, add some value to it, either into completely finished products or add value to make it become some raw material again that will not just be in their natural state that can be exportable. We will continue to groan and lament and lose value for what we produce. And this is why industrialization is such a key and a very important thing that government after government in this country should have taken seriously. And I wish and hope that the present dispensation we find ourselves can really look at that area and see what they can do to encourage value addition. Don't just bring out these things. If you take cassava alone, there are so many cottage factories, manufacturing outfits that can come and use cassava as a basic raw material to produce whatever they want to do. Ditto for all the fruits you have highlighted. From cashew alone, you can have the juice, you can have the nuts, you can have other things. So
even polish. I had that. We have even so many things you can have from that cashew.
Beautiful. So these are the things we are not yet thinking about and doing. But sometimes, because of this challenge of orange,
yes,
if you enter Benue,
it's everywhere.
Everything will just
everywhere.
You drive hundreds of kilometers, orange everywhere. The whole of those orange forests are rotting and spawning over there. Nothing.
And we do not have
place
any,
to take them add value.
Any factory that produces orange juice around there.
Beautiful. Now, why wouldn't governments, subnational governments in such locations, in such places, think outside the box and establish something that will just take off these things from the owners and begin to turn them into, well, shouldn't we have a fruit juice industry in somewhere located in Benue or scattered all over Benue so that those things will not be wasted? That's just a particular product from one location that we are highlighting. Ditto for cashew and other things.
Yes.
So we need to seriously think industrialization. We need to seriously think manufacturing. We need to surely pursue it as a people, as a government, and as entrepreneurs, and as investors. Our people need to go back. This has been said over and over. These are low-hanging fruits that will give us all the necessary industrialization, that we need as a country.
And of course, when that happens, we start exporting these things and making more gain from foreign exchange. And as a result, our economy gets better.
Okay, look at what
the value of the naira improves.
Agree, sir. Look at what is going on in just because of the intervention we have seen, thank God to Dangote refining and all that. We cannot export refined products.
Exactly.
Not totally depending on imported refined product as before. That has really eased off a bit on our FX earnings.
Yes.
Seriously, it has eased the FX earnings. It's contributing seriously to a lot of FX earnings, which is bringing the stability we are seeing. If we do this to in other areas, it will amaze us the kind of success we'll record in boosting both our FX earnings, our balance of payment, and everything will just be going up, and we'll be better for it as a nation.
Just recently, I saw a story about a company somewhere up north, and it has to do with the processing of cocoa, and which has helped a whole lot. I saw the huge factory; they've done a whole lot, and Meshai, that's what they call it, and they are working on it to make sure that we add value to the cocoa, coffee we find in our country. In actual fact, they've gone ahead to even import some more from other parts of the world, so that we will now start producing this coffee here, so that it could be effectively utilized by our people, and our people will stop importing that. And even it will get to the extent that they themselves will also be exporting some of these. I had long ago talked about the fact that there was one in Adamawa that was producing like Lipton tea. That one has its own name. I just don't know how I forgot the name.
Yes.
You know, and they were doing well. But for some time now, I've not been hearing about them. Maybe one of those problems that our people have been going through has come upon them. You know?
The infrastructure is not there. The necessary infrastructures for most manufacturing outfits, the major challenge most of them will tell you they have is energy, power. We need, these things need to be resolved as quickly like yesterday to encourage. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who have the zest, who have the tenacity. Many people have the capacity, but the infrastructure that will encourage and enable them to go into these manufacturing things has not been there. How will you go into manufacturing when you are not guaranteed a steady power?
Which is the major thing.
Which is the major thing you need. How would you go into this? Thank God for what is happening in the oil and gas sector and all that. You know, it's beginning to be a little bit available. We can do more. It can get better and better, you know, by driving the prices down and all that. The high cost of running your diesel genset or whatever. If we talk about solar or whatever, alternative energies and all that, are we producing the solar things here? We still import them. We still import them. It will add to the overhead cost. And these things are bring a lot of strain on their cost of production. And when they look at all these things, and that's why some of them will come in after some time, they'll
pack up and
or
go.
They relocate to other
countries.
Where, you know,
economies like some have left Nigeria and gone to Ghana because
where
of
the economies of scale is lower and all that.
Yes.
And these are the issues. So let's address our infrastructural issue. Let's address the things that are barriers or great limitations to our industrial breakthrough as a nation. If we address all those things, address the issue of power, make sure there's adequate supply of energy, and gas and all that. Make sure also
infrastructure.
there are accessible roads to wherever they seek to locate. Then security. Security of life and property. When we do all these ones, why can't we develop as a nation? We have the resources, we have everything agreed, which has been established over the years. I will keep repeating that we have. But what are we doing with what we have?
We are letting what we have go to waste.
Slip off our hands.
Yes, because of that
annually we waste them. And wait for another harvest season.
And insecurity is trying to ground our country.
That one is really something else. There's the need to nip it completely, to get hold on it and deal with it.
Well, we'll still continue.
Yes, sir.
But thank you so much again for being here, Daike. Thank you, fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Because there are some of these things we needed to understand more. That's why we have to look for you to come and display. It's your field, and so you can make us understand it better. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir.
We will return to this discussion table, but first of all, let's take it from the business news before we return.
The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, has trained more than 6,000 businesses in a major push to strengthen small and medium enterprises across the country. Director General Charles Odieu disclosed these at the launch of the Inspire, Create, Start, Scale ICSS MSME financing scheme in Abuja. The ICSS program is designed to help small businesses overcome persistent barriers to accessing loans. Odi noted that despite their vital contribution to Nigeria's economy, many SMEs struggle to secure bank financing due to perceived high risks, weak business structures, and limited credit assessment systems. He explained that the targeted training equips entrepreneurs with the tools and knowledge needed to become finance-ready and more attractive to lenders. Looking ahead, SMEDEN plans to significantly scale up the number of businesses trained in 2026, widening access to funding and boosting economic growth nationwide. And now the Lagos State government has commenced implementation of a 5% withholding tax, WHT, on gaming winnings in line with existing tax laws and industry regulations. The deduction applies to net winnings from licensed gaming platforms operating within Lagos and will be made automatically at the point of payout. All licensed operators have been directed to comply immediately, with 5% of qualifying winnings deducted before payment and remitted to the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. State authorities say the move is part of broader efforts to strengthen tax compliance, transparency, and accountability in the rapidly growing gaming sector. Players must provide their national identification number, NIN, in line with Know Your Customer requirements. Winnings will be paid net of the statutory deduction, with proper documentation maintained. Deducted WHT will also serve as a tax credit for players. And now the federal government has directed ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, to strictly adhere to the Public Procurement Act in executing and processing payments for the 2025-2026 capital budget. This directive was issued by the Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Anite, during a crucial stakeholders meeting at the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja. Uzoka Anite emphasized that all capital payments must align with the principles set out in the Procurement Act. She also highlighted the cash backing for capital projects before execution, stressing that no payment should be made outside approved procurement procedures. Reassuring MDAs about the availability of funds, the minister urged them to ensure proper documentation to expedite the payments process. Dr. Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi, Accountant General of the Federation, confirmed that the GIVME's platform has been fully restored and operational. In his address, Steve NIGCOMSAT, Director of Funds, urged MDAs to avoid budget overruns, ensuring strict compliance with approved projects and values. He reminded them to return unutilized funds to the Treasury and seek technical support from GIVME's officials. Nigeria's average crude oil production rose to 1.64 million barrels per day in 2025, marking a 5.8% increase from 1.55 million barrels per day recorded in the same period of 2024, the Independent Petroleum Producers Group has announced. Chairman Adegbite Falade disclosed these at the Nigerian International Energy Summit 2026 in Abuja, highlighting progress across the oil and gas value chain. He cited improved upstream production, expansion of gas infrastructure, and increased domestic refining capacity as key drivers growth. Falade noted that indigenous producers now contribute more than half of Nigeria's total crude output, describing it as a milestone reflecting stronger local participation in supportive policy reforms. He added that early indicators suggest rising investor confidence and improved sector performance, but emphasized the urgent need for strategic reforms, deeper collaboration, and greater value creation with Nigeria's domestic energy ecosystem.
Oh, well, that's it. Thank you so much. Back on here, we'll still continue. And I still have Gotsineke here with me, a fellow. So not only is he chartered, he is also a fellow. So that is a serious matter. And so that's why I called him to come and talk here today. So looking at the fact that this inflation trend that we've just discussed, is area dependent. What I mean is that if we go to some area, it's different from what you have in the other areas. And
it's local.
You also, yes, it's localized kind of. And you also mentioned what has to do with tech. Can we talk more about this so that people can understand it very well? Please elucidate.
Okay. Yeah. The thing about this inflation thing is this. Even when we talk about reduction in prices of food items, the reductions are not uniform. Nigeria is such a vast country, very vast and very massive. The prices of the same food items that we're using to judge improvement in economic activities, we're using to rate inflation rate here in Abuja, for instance, or somewhere at the factors responsible for these other areas, say middle belt or north central or southeast or south, that differ significantly from that of maybe Katsina, Yobe or whatever, is that those places there's less of agricultural activities going on because of insecurity.
Yes.
Therefore, right now, while the food products that could be dropping in prices, it may be hiking there. There could be spike out there. When you compare that, you discover that the low inflation drop, the reflationary rate for all the food items is local, depending on where. Now, the person who is a big or a huge consumer of tech items in Lagos, for instance, also maybe tell you that I'm not seeing any improvement. I'm not seeing anything because the things he's buying, the things he's using for the tech work he does, whether it is telephone he's buying, or whether he's making use of other technology, whatever, is still high. It hasn't dropped. And since the price of those things are not dropping, for him, he's not seeing any improvement and he has not seen any change. So this is why we don't need to celebrate these things in isolation or take it to use it to generalize as total improvement. The inflationary rate in this country is still vulnerable to supply and exchange rate shifts and shocks. So it's still vulnerable in such a way that if we just come and say, January, this, well, for politicians, that's a huge milestone.
Yes.
Nobody take anything away from them too. That's an improvement, but sustainability of what we have seen in January is what we will look out for. By the end of the first quarter of this year, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
This is February.
Yes.
Will it continue? Now, somebody will come in and say again, probably Lent, there's Ramadan and all that, this February till sometime in March. Sometime in March, between this period too.
It could be
give and take. Give and take. It could drop on food items again because there is not much consumption
within the period because of the fasting.
But some other type within the food item component can have a spike because while some major things may not be demanded, some other things can be demanded.
Like milk,
beverages and all that can be demanded more. And their prices will go up. Now, so this is why we want to look at composite price, price index of consumer goods. You need to look at them holistically. Like I said, there are over now and something food items that come into that cluster that will be used to assess whether things are improving inflation-wise or not. Every one of us, my expectation, and I think every expectation of every Nigerian is that late prices of everything across board reduce. Let there be breadth of fresh air in the area of cost of things, cost of living. And when this happens, sustained economic activities, policies, without major shocks here and there, will lead us to there.
Like, we have the Ministry of Blue Economy that we are yet to feel the impact as far as this country is concerned. If you, by any means, try to price this thing, sardine right now, it is... if you want to get that original, that main one that we used to eat, I don't want to mention the name. Yeah, okay. You want to price that particular one, you will get it at 1,400.
Yes.
And you will look for another one. In some places, 1,005. When you look for the other ones that are lesser, you will see that you could find that one at 1,003, 1,002, and another one, the least is 1,001. Now, all these, they are part of the things that people will need to eat and enjoy and get even that, whatever it is they're called, it's again, omega-3 and omega-6 that we find from all these
nutrients.
Things. Yes, nutrients.
Multivitamins.
Yes, that we need in our lives. But you see, people are running away from this because of the fact that the cost is still going high.
The purchasing power is not there, sir.
It is not there. The purchasing power is not there. You see, it's a problem. We need to look at these things before we start saying that everything, the inflation has eased up. Look at these ones. What can we do to bring them closer? And of course, Elder Eke has mentioned here that the important thing to do is to think of how to make sure that we get into have effective security in the land, and that way we put our infrastructure in order, like power supply and all that. When you finish with this, we can now make the place okay for people who are manufacturers to come into our country to manufacture these things, because some people that came earlier have run away because of the problem of insecurity and power. Is that also, sir?
That's all.
And now, looking at these things, do we have a word for the people that are yet to see the effect come down the more? Because, in fact, I would have brought my friend that is an analyst too that would have been here today, Sambrezi tomorrow. He would have come to tell you the way the common man feels it more.
No, the truth is that the common man is not smiling out there.
Yes.
The common man is not smiling because we are not yet where we need to be, but I think also that we're also moving to where we need to be.
Yes, we're moving to where we need to be.
Provided that we reduce distractions. Provided we can remove and reduce some of the distractions, and the distractions, these are distractions that tend to take people away, which we have seen in so many administrations in the past. They will come up with wonderful and clear, what looks like clear goals, give you a picture of where they need to be, but somehow we don't get, sometimes we even go off the track that'll take us to those dreams that they have laid down for us and all that.
Yes.
And if we can remain focused as a country, as a nation, be steadfast on our track, and then make sure that the trajectory is not diverted. We're not shoved away from the lane that we have chosen to get to where we're going. I think we need to be there. The blue economy can do more, but I think I really hope and wish that the vision behind the establishment of this blue economy has been properly shared with all the drivers in that sector. The people that drive the policies of that sector need to understand what this sector is trying to do.
all about.
It's just like the ones that should be driving the Minister of, is it animal now?
Yes. I'll soon get it.
We separated the livestock minister.
Yes,
So these things should not just be things that should come and exist,
but
where money is shared without tangible effort on ground
for us to see
that
results.
will churn out results that will be able to grow for us the necessary things, a vision behind their establishment. You talked about the fish you buy, the sardine and all this and all that.
Even the main fish itself,
the main fish itself. So
it's the same thing.
How easily affordable are the fish in the market today? How can you, a sensible fish that will be able to make you a meal, how much does it cost?
It used to be 400 naira, but today that one is 1,004.
Okay.
1,005.
So these are what we are saying. Now,
3,000 even.
People need to be encouraged to go back to these areas and do something that will align with the visions, the dreams of the innovators for creating such this thing. Let it not just be an avenue to create, and then people will come, sit, talk, speak grammar, and you don't see things, and yet you see a lot of huge sums of votes, being turned into
avenue for slush funds.
So
which we don't need at a time like this if we really want to wake up to the reality.
A nation that, if we are very realistic, we should be in a hurry. Everybody should be in a hurry to develop, to grow, to open up the landscape for people to do a lot. And there are a lot of young people that can go into all these things, livestock, blue economy and all that. So please, I think that we need to see seriousness coming from those areas you just mentioned, the ministries of blue economy and livestock.
And livestock, yes. We need to do that.
We need to do it.
Some time ago, I think it was early last year, that the minister said that it will take us 6 years before we start seeing impact of such a thing.
Can you imagine?
And
6
I was
years.
saying, what are we doing? What were we doing with all these years? Is it not just to work and get the things that are required and work with them? Just as you said, sir, we are in a hurry to get to where we ought to be. Let nobody derail that movement. Let nobody derail that movement. And it's a good thing that the minister that's in charge of that blue economy is the president's cousin. So he needs to help the president. Let's see that things are perfected in the country. We need all such things. And that of the livestock. There was the time we were told that the former INEC chairman had gone...
Mahmoud.
No, not Mahmoud.
The one before him.
Yes, they had gone to Britain for discussion and plan with Brazil, so that they will come into the country and arrange how we'll be handling our livestock, to do a better form of ranching, if you like,
yes,
and all those things to make sure that we have better and healthier meat in the country, and healthier milk, and even cheese. Who is talking about cheese again in the country? The last time I saw cheese was when I was a kid.
Okay.
And now I've so grown, I've seen more than 60 years in this world. I don't even know what cheese is like anymore. So, and these are the things we used to see everywhere, enjoy and play with. If we have the livestock, why can't we have the things that will come from the livestock? That's the problem. Just as we have had oil for all these years and never getting to have the things that come from the oil, including polypropylene and so on and so forth. Thank God for Dangote. Now those things are here. Now. Yes, and those things are here.
Yeah.
And we are getting it. This government has also done something. It's saying that for those who want to export cocoa, that they will no longer export cocoa without adding value to it. They also did it recently concerning those who export shea butter. They said no more export of shea butter until at least 30% value is added to it. This is good. Let more of it happen, and let's see the result, not just only the talk. Let's see the result, because that way the economy feels it and the people will feel it better. Sir, please, I want to thank you. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
This revolution that we pray for cannot happen until we start to do those things. That is why one would want to support and promote any government that is geared towards this issue of creating a better environment, being necessary to create environment for producers of some of these basic products, these raw products.
To add value to it, because when you're adding value, you're creating employment.
Yes.
When you're adding value, you're enhancing the quality of the product.
Yes,
when you're
and
adding
the quality
value,
of the lives of the people.
You are improving the well-being and living standard of the people. When you're adding value, you are also ensuring that we earn more foreign exchange from these things and from these very products. So that's why one cannot but want to urge and encourage the government to always think along the line of what can be done to make sure that we don't just filter away these raw materials out there without adding necessary values. And then, because when we do, we create opportunities for our people to be engaged, young people to work, and whoever have capacity. You see, it's not a matter of dreaming and carving out fresh ministries or parastatals. People with capacity should be brought. People with capacity and commitment. Sometimes we have people with capacity in this country, but they are not committed. Some of the these people that are committed, and they lack the necessary capacity to drive some processes that are handed over to them. So we need to begin to really look for people, square peg in square holes, not just appointments sometimes, born out of clannishness. So all these clannish appointments sometimes, you want us to settle people and whatever. We're talking about toying with the well-being of over 200 million people as a nation.
Yes.
And these are the things we need to come out of and begin to be very, very deliberate. We need to be very intentional on the direction we want to guide the development of this nation to, so that we reduce this jackpot thing. Is because young people can't see what to keep them here for this nation. Otherwise, what we have done so far has brought us to where we are. And if we continue to do the same thing, we'll go nowhere.
Yes, we will go nowhere. That's just the word. Thank you so much, sir. It's been great and beautiful sharing the moments with you. Elder Godson Eke, a fellow of the Trinity Institute of Bankers. Thank you for coming, a financial consultant, of course, for coming here to help us understand more of this. I pray that the Central Bank of Nigeria would also have had a bit of this and help to make some application that will make a great change for us and bring the difference that is needed. And we also pray that the government itself will work hard to see how insecurity will be brought down effectively. Because I remember that some factories shut down because of the fact of there was no security for them. they had to go. Let's put things in order and ask those ones to return and let fresh ones come. That's one thing I know that will happen in our country and will get better. Chocolate. I remember that the government said we can't be having bars of chocolate brought from Britain when we are producing this cocoa in such an immense manner in the country. You know, so why should we be doing that? These are even the little things, minute things that
can come out of that particular raw
not
material.
to talk about the so many other things, like in the livestock thing. I see people eating pomo. When they eat pomo, I say, oh my God! In some developed countries, all that we are using this pomo thing would have helped
in leather, hats,
exactly. Rice and skin and all those things, good shoes and all that you can get from all these things.
Quality products.
You know, and thank God for the Abia State government because all we are hearing, you know that in the past 7 months, no, now 8 months because we're February, there has not been any blink of electricity supply in the local governments where that Abia Power is working.
Aba Power.
Yes, Aba Power.
About the 9 local governments,
yes.
There has been relatively regular and steady supply of power.
This is what we need.
And there is a plan also for that same government to try and make sure that it covers the whole
entire state.
Local governments in the state.
Okay.
But for the 9 local governments that started, things have really scaled up for them by, I said, you know, by way of power supply. Things have scaled up. People are now able to manage their power consumption and supply. And again, he also have been able to manage to take away the regulation of that power from NIRC, and then Abia is now regulating their own power district. And the idea is to be able to gradually, over time, ensure that the issue of power is managed. These are the kind of things subnationals should be getting involved into. What will improve the quality of life of their people. Not this unnecessary politicking that people are doing yet. I think there's hope. We'll get there.
Thank you so much, sir. That is how we'll be. It's on that note that we'll conclude our talk today. Thank you so much, Daike, for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Please do come again, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're quite busy, but then, like today, we had to fight that struggle over it, and you'll be able to make it. Thank you so much, sir. We are grateful. Thank you so much. Well, dear viewer, this is where we'll round it up for today. Thank you for being there. I know you have learned a whole lot more and seen a lot more that we'll still get into as time goes on the program. Thanks to Sanusi Debayo for helping and putting things in order. Thanks to Emmanuel Solomon, and not forgetting, of course, Victor Adeye that is back. Thank you. Welcome. We want to say thanks to Victor Chizea and Felix Akinjabula. Thanks to Ugonokala.